Hey, welcome back again. My mom said not to wear my hair up, but it's freaking hot and sweaty, and so I'm gonna wear my hair up. So sorry, Mom. Hair is up today. Let's get started.
Actually,
All right, so this week I wanted to talk about my cooking and how I know how to cook and how I learned and funny little cooking stories. But first, aren't these earrings cool? If you're looking at them on YouTube, they are little daisies. If you're just listening, they're little daisies in ensconced in acrylic, but they're not real daisies. But they look like real daisies. They're really pretty. My mom got them for me while they were in Vegas for my little sister's barrel racing event. I'll put a video up here. It's pretty cool, huh? Right? So, my little sister was in Las Vegas competing, and she won some money, and she would have won more money, but then she was too fast, and so then she leveled up. It was like so cool watching the live feed of her and the announcers going, and next up from Santa Ana, California. It was super cool. It felt like I was watching my little sister be all famous. It was awesome. So this week wanted to talk about cooking and how I learned how to cook, how I know how to cook, how I cook, funny little cooking stories, all sorts of stuff like that. So I don't cook with a recipe. I can. Recipes are easy to follow, but usually I just cook with my heart and my soul and my guts, and I eyeball it, I've gotten really good at eyeballing ingredients because once you know, and you can always add more. Key rule with cooking: you can always add more, but you can't take away. So, for instance, salt or spice or sour or anything. You can always add too much. But if you add a little bit and taste, and then a little more, and then taste, and then a little more, or it's perfect, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So just, taste as you go. I realized I don't really taste my food much as I'm cooking. Like sometimes if I'm really hungry, I'll eat as I go. I'll try it as I go, quotation marks. But really, it's just because I'm hungry. But for the most part, I don't really taste my food as I go. I just kind of know how much seasoning looks good and go with that. And if it needs more, then awesome. But I haven't added too much salt to a dish, or too much spice to a dish, or too much anything to a dish in a long, long time. Once you get the hang of cooking, and if you're cooking without a recipe especially, it is so much easier to understand visually how much seasoning is a good amount, My salt of choice is garlic salt, also PS, because I think it adds a better flavor. So if you're not sure if you want to use regular salt or like a flavored salt, I say garlic salt. Unless you're cooking like a sweet dish, garlic salt's the way to go. It's my little actually homeschooled tip. The Lowry's garlic salt with the green lid, not sponsored. So yeah, when I was younger, I used to help my mom cook, and she never really measured or used measuring cups or measuring spoons or anything like that, unless we were cooking like rice or something, and you need a exact measurement. But yeah, she used to just eyeball it, and I used to help her out and watch her and hang out while she cooked, and then I started cooking. And we used to get these, they're still a thing, I'm pretty sure. They're those cooking boxes that get sent to you like weekly, that have all the ingredients and then like a recipe card, and then you make the thing that they send you, like it's all the ingredients. We used to get vegan ones or vegetarian ones called not Blue Apron, Purple Carrot, and something else. One of them was Purple Carrot, and one of them was something else with a vegetable, I'm pretty sure. I don't think it was Blue Apron. Maybe it was Blue Apron? I don't know. Anyways, they used to they deliver it to your house, all the ingredients that you need, and then a little recipe instruction card, and then you just make the dish based off of the instructions. And I realized, because I loved cooking, right? I fell in love with it. My older sister's like master baker. My little sister, super good at baking. She's good at cooking, I think. I don't know if she's really gotten the love for cooking yet, but my older sister used to not really like to cook, and now she does. So I don't know if that's like, you either like it right away, or when you move out, you learn how to cook, kind of. But I loved cooking right away. So I would always make the boxed ingredient meals. And I realized if you only add exactly what they tell you, like literally a pinch of salt and a pinch of pepper and just this much of the turmeric seasoning and this much of the curry powder and this much of the, whatever, tahini or whatever it is, the meals are like kind of flavorless. I'm sure ones with meat are probably more flavorful just because meat already has a flavor. But the vegetarian ones were like, if you followed it exactly to the recipe, for me at least, because I like flavor and salt, pretty boring, So I would always improvise a little bit, add a little bit more of this, add a little bit more of that, be like 1 clove of garlic, I'm adding 4 because garlic's good for you and it's delicious. And Italian. So the trifecta. But yeah, I don't know, cooking with your eyeball and just being able to eyeball the ingredients, it's so much easier than measuring everything out, I think. For me at least. Following recipes every now and then is cool and fun if I want to learn something new. If I want to learn how to cook something new, but for the most part, yeah, just go with your gut, go with your eyeball, Yeah. So when I was younger, my mom used to make us grits for breakfast. Which, if you haven't had grits or you haven't seen my cousin Vinny, grits are the bomb. Like, the last time I had grits was when I was pregnant in December. I went to I think it was December, a friend's birthday dinner at Jazz Kitchen in downtown Disney, and they had grits on the menu. And so I was like, I ordered pasta, but I also got grits because I wanted grits as well and pregnant. And the guy was super cool about it. So that was cool. And they were delicious, but they weren't as good as my mom grits. My mom grits. My mom's grits. She used to make us grits with like garlic salt and cheese, and she used to use like milk instead of water so that they'd be more creamy. And oh my gosh, they're so good. Grits is like a porridge if you don't know what it is. It's kind of like a savory porridge vibe. It's like kind of like rice-ish, but the grains are way smaller. And it's just so good. It's just so good. And eat it hot. Oh, they're delicious. And I remember this episode is going to make me so hungry. But anyways, we're going to do it. And I'm just going to eat after. And that's fine. My parents and I and sisters, we all used to go to this Thai restaurant around the corner from our house that I think is still there, but they have different owners, so the food's not as good anymore. Don't you hate when places do that? I hate when places do that. Like, if they change owners and the food stays good or gets better, that's awesome. But if they change owners and the food, like, diminishes, it's like, really? So, yeah, they changed owners, food. But before, when we used to go there, they used to have really, really amazing barbecue short ribs that would, like, fall off the bone. They were so good. But, barbecue short ribs, it's usually a pretty big order, so we'd always have leftovers. And whenever we'd have leftovers, the next morning, my mom would make grits with the cut up barbecue short rib pieces in the grits. Then she would sprinkle cheese on top and then put it under the broiler so it would get all like broiled and delicious. So good. So good. Oh, childhood. Oh, memories. Another memory, we used to make pancakes, Renata and I, my older sister and I. And then I'm pretty sure Tallulah, younger sister as well, used to make them with us. But I remember Renata and I used to make colored pancakes because we had food coloring. And on the box, they would always show how to make like dusty rose or aquamarine or lime green or whatever. And so we would always ask my parents if we could color the pancakes. And then we would color them and then not eat them. The baby's asleep in the other room and I have the baby monitor. So I might have to go and check on her in a bit. But I'm a good mom, I promise. So we used to make colored pancakes and then not eat them. And because I don't even know why. I don't know why. I mean, I know that I didn't really like pancakes until I got older, which is odd, but for sure, never really liked pancakes until I got older. Like now, I could go for a stack of Norm's pancakes right now. This is ridiculous how hungry I'm going to get. But when I was younger, I didn't really like pancakes, like at all. Homemade pancakes weren't my thing. Pancakes at a restaurant were my thing. I didn't really like them. I don't know why. But now, oh boy, times have changed. Tides have turned. Yeah. So we used to make colored pancakes. They were gross. We never ate them. I mean, they weren't gross, but I just didn't like them. We would make like pink pancakes, and my favorite was blue pancakes because my favorite color was blue. Still is. I still like blue. But yeah, one time when we were younger, for some reason, my mom wanted to make meatballs. And this was the thing. We didn't really, my mom would get us sausage, breakfast sausage, and sometimes bacon. Like I said, when we go out, we would get meat. But we never really, when I got to a certain age, maybe 10, 9 or 10, we stopped having meat in the house just because my parents went vegetarian, vegan, juicing, raw, and we stopped having meat in the house. We used to barbecue. I remember we would barbecue chicken breasts, and then all the leftover stuff, my mom would wrap up the chicken breast individually in tin foil. And then the next day when we would go and do something, she would pack a lunch, and then we'd get hungry and be like, Mom, we're hungry. Can we have something to eat? And she'd be like, yep, there's chicken pops in the lunch bag. And a chicken pop was a cold chicken breast wrapped in tin foil that you'd just unwrap like a burrito and eat. And it wasn't that bad. Honestly, it was pretty good. Those are pretty tasty, But I remember chicken pops. So yeah, we used to barbecue a lot. My, dad would barbecue steaks and chicken and vegetables and whatever. But then they went vegan, raw, juicer vibe. And we stopped having meat in the house. And I never really cooked meat when we had meat around to cook. So I didn't really learn how to cook meat until very recently. Maybe 3 weeks ago, I cooked my first steak ever. And it came out pretty good. It was delicious. I can season the heck out of a steak, let me tell you. But it was a little bit overcooked. I like a medium rare, It was still delicious. New York steak with a bone in. How could you ruin that? Well, I know how you could ruin that, but, I didn't, luckily. But yeah, I didn't really learn how to cook meat until recently because it was just never around for me to cook other than breakfast sausage, but that's super simple. So one time my mom, for some reason, wanted to make meatballs, or we were making some sort of soup that needed meatballs or something like that. There was some reason why we were doing meatballs. And so she got the meat and the seasons and did all, mixed it all up. And my older sister Renata, and I are all in the kitchen making meatballs. And we're rolling out the meat. And my mom's telling us the story about how when she was younger, her and her childhood best friend used to throw the meatballs up on the ceiling. And it pissed her mom off because then it stained the ceiling. Because when you throw seasoned raw meat onto a plain white ceiling, it's going to stain it, So then my older sister and I were like, can we do that? We either asked or we just did it. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure we asked. Maybe we just did it. I don't know. This is the hazard, P.S., of smoking green-ery. Okay? You don't really remember your stories that well. Kind of sucks. I don't smoke green actively anymore. I have stopped my green smoking journey. Having a baby has made me want to end that. So I don't actively smoke green, but in the past, if you smoke green in the past, it affects your memory in the future was my point, and I didn't make that point very well. So that's the point. Back to the podcast. So we start throwing meatballs up on the ceiling, and they stain the ceiling, and those stains are still on my parents' kitchen ceiling to this day. And I remember that memory was so freaking fun because the three of us are in the kitchen, and you know that one opera song was like, "O sovi mobile, somebody simone, na 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 na." You know that one? I probably sang way more than I needed to, but talent. We were singing something pizza pie, something pizza pie, and every time we would say pizza pie, we'd throw a meatball up on the ceiling, and you have to throw them really hard. So we'd throw them, and then they'd splat and flatten out on the ceiling and stay there for a minute and then fall back down. And I can't remember if my dad got home right as we were doing that and walked in the kitchen and was like, "What are you guys doing?" Or if we just told him about it later. But yeah, I remember that was so fun. That was so fun, and the stains are still there. So yeah, it was a pretty funny moment, fun memory. Yeah. So earlier I mentioned Italian, right? I'm Italian from my dad's side-ish, like barely Italian. Hungarian Italian is his heritage. His parents are both from New York, so like, you know, New York Italian, you know? I'm walking here. Yeah. You know? So one time we came home from swim team, I believe. It was when we just got home from swim team. We walk into the kitchen. My dad is making dinner. And he's making pasta, because Italian. And he's listening to the Godfather movie theme song soundtrack. Nya 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 nya. Nya 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 nya. Wow, okay, that got really bad at the end. Okay, anyways, yeah, so we got home from swim team. He's in the kitchen making pasta, cutting onions. My eldest sister walks in and goes, she's filming him. She's like, "What are you doing?" And he looks up from the cutting board and he's like, "Making pasta." It was pretty funny. He doesn't sound like that. He doesn't have that thick of an accent really at all. But it was just, you know, the accent makes it funnier, you know? Yeah. It's funny. I have a lot more cooking stories than I thought. It's kind of cool. I like it. I'm very excited to be able to teach my little baby how to cook when she gets older, because I want her to be able to cook, and I want her to know how to cook and not be afraid of a stove and know how to use a knife and all that stuff. My parents used to let us help cut things when we were younger. You know, we had little baby knives, but still, it was still cutting stuff with a knife, you know. You have to learn how to use it correctly and safely. And that was pretty cool that they did that for us. So, yeah. My older sister wanted me to include that I was asking for good cooking stories, and she was saying, "Oh yeah, remember how she tried to include me in this." I never did this. This was all her. But she tried to include me in her horrible soup making attempts. She used to try and make vegetable soups pretty often, and she didn't get the hang of cooking until recently. Now, she's great. Her food's delicious. But before, it was pretty funny. She would try and make soup, and she would do water and vegetables and like barely salt it and then end up throwing it all away because it was gross. And she would make it just for herself. Nobody else wanted it. And she would make like not just a single portion, you know? So, that was pretty funny. Yeah. But, yeah. My fiance and I love to cook. He cooked for me the first time I ever came over to meet his mom. It was hilarious. So he says, "I want you to come over and meet my mom. I'll cook dinner for us and whatever." So I come over. It was hot as hell because when we first started dating, we started dating in like the end of January. And then I think I met his mom March or April or something like that. maybe April, May. And it was super hot. So he came downstairs, walked me inside, waited for me to park my car and everything. And then we get upstairs and he immediately took his shirt off because it was so hot in our apartment now doesn't have any AC. And, so he's cooking with his shirt off and his mom walks out of her room because she used to live here with us, before she moved back into her place. And she walks out of the room and I was super nervous to meet her. But it was so chill. It was so chill. He was cooking shirtless and I was nervous as hell. And then his mom walks out and is like, "Oh, Mija, I'm so happy to meet you. Wow, nice to, my name's..." And it was really cool. It was very, very chillaxed for how nervous I was to meet her. But cooking, he wanted to make enchiladas. So he was making chicken and green salsa, like salsa, chile verde salsa. And because he didn't know that you can use the oven on a very, very low heat as a food warmer, to keep, if you are making a big meal, you can put your oven on a super low heat, or if your oven just stays warm, you just put your food in there and keep it warm, until you're ready to eat. He didn't know that. So some of the enchiladas were hot, the ones that he just put together were hot, and then the rest were all cold because they were just sitting there for a minute. And I felt bad because they were not salted really at all, because he was also nervous about me coming over, and so they weren't really that flavorful. And I was like, so sweet. The salsa was good. Oh my gosh. He makes his own salsa and he's amazing at making salsa. I tell him that he should bottle it and sell it. It's so good. I would bring it whenever he'd make it. I'd bring it to my work and share it with everybody at work. I'd give my mom a bottle. I'd give my sister a bottle. And my older sister doesn't even like salsa and she loves his. So, well, I guess she doesn't like spicy salsa, but his is pretty spicy, but she likes it. So, but yeah, so he made the enchiladas and they weren't the most flavorful, and I felt really bad for feeling that way. But then I told him, and he's like, "Yeah, I know, I forgot to add salt." And then I told him about the oven thing, and he was like, "I didn't even know or think that you could do that. I didn't even think about that." So, and apparently he's got some special spaghetti recipe that he has never made me that he needs to make me, because allegedly it's really good, but I've never had it. So how am I supposed to know that his spaghetti especial de Alex is that good if he doesn't make it for me, So I tried making an Instagram reel. Well, I did make it, of me making dumplings, because I figured out how to make little pot sticker dumpling things. I guess pot stickers, not really dumplings. So easy. You just get the little pot sticker papers, and then, or even egg roll papers, but those are a lot thinner, and so they come out a lot more like phyllo dough. They're a lot thinner, So pot sticker, they come in little packs and they're cut into little circles and they're already floured and everything. And then you just make whatever filling you want. And literally the filling can be anything. It can be sweet. It can be savory. It doesn't have to be Asian fusion-y. I saw somebody even made pizza filled ones. They did marinara and cheese. And then somebody else did taco ones. And there's all sorts of dumplings that you can make. Pot stickers that you can make. So the first time I did it, I made a sriracha, corn, black bean, Southwest vibe, I guess you could say. And they were delicious. And that was back when I still lived in my parents' house. And my parents were like, "These are so good." And so I got pot sticker papers a little while ago and made pot stickers. And I was like, "Ooh, I'm going to make an Instagram reel because that'll be cool and easy." It took so long. Making Instagram reels of you cooking where you're doing little clip and then a clip of this and a clip of that. And then I did this. And then now I'm putting in the pan. And then I put in the thing. And then that takes so long. And it makes the cooking process so much longer. Which now in retrospect, as I'm saying, it makes a lot of sense, but I didn't think it was going to take that much longer to do it, But it's pretty cool. I'll put the video up here, so if you're watching on YouTube, you can see the video of me making pot stickers in my Instagram reel. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah. And then I saw this other viral Instagram trend, that was the super crunchy cooked pasta. I don't know if any of you saw that. Like, people were just cooking pasta and then eating it like chips. And then somebody decided to do that and then fill the pastas with I think she made taco filled pasta. So she took shells and filled them with taco things and then put them in the air fryer. And let me tell you, that is such a good idea. And I'm probably going to do it again in the near future because it's so good. So again, I will put the reel here so that as I'm telling you about it, you can see what I did. But took a while to film and make them at the same time. I filled them with like a garlic sausage, onion mixture, added some cheese. Definitely need to add more cheese. I know that for next time. And then threw them in the air fryer. And they were freaking delicious. Freaking delicious. So, yeah. Cooking can be super fun and super inventive, adventurous if you just try stuff, you know? I don't like baking though. Like I said, not a fan of baking. The most baking I will do is like cookies or filled croissant rolls. You know, like how they have the croissant rolls in the tube that you can get at the store. I made Nutella filled ones of those. Those are pretty good. I filled some with Nutella and then rolled them up like a little croissant. And then I filled some with Nutella and blueberries and rolled them up like a little croissant. And then I put them in the waffle maker. My older sister got me this. It's like that big little miniature waffle maker. They come out like the size of Eggos. And so I made croissant filled waffles. Croissant roll filled waffles. And they were so frickin' bomb. That was another thing I saw from Instagram. That was another thing. I've also done cinnamon roll waffles. I was on a super massive sugar kick when I was pregnant. That's why I thought it was going to be a girl, because the amount of sweets I was eating. Like, I'm a bag of chips over a cupcake type of person usually, you know? I'll take a block of salt over a block of sugar any day, you know? But when I was pregnant, holy mother of cows, I was eating so much sugar. It's insane. This kid's going to have like a massive sugar tooth. I bet you anything. Yeah. And then I had a dentist appointment when I was pregnant. So went to the dentist and I was like, damn, my teeth are going to be fricked up. And I only had 2 cavities. Still 2 cavities, but it was only 2. I thought it was going to be a lot worse. But it wasn't that bad. So that's good. But now that she's out, the sugar thing's gone back down. I'm like, fruit's good. Have a piece of chocolate here and there. It's been hot, so ice cream's good, you know? But the sugar kick has definitely lessened. For sure. Yeah. Yeah. But cooking's awesome. And I think as a woman, for me at least, in my idea of, in my world of how a house is supposed to feel like a home, I think knowing how to cook is super, super important. Oh, that's the baby. My fiance's home though, so he's in there with her. Yeah, so I think knowing how to cook is super, super important, and getting good, fresh fruits and veggies from like farmers markets versus the grocery store, one, is cheaper. You may not think it is, but when you total it up, getting organic stuff from the farmers market is way cheaper than getting organic stuff from the grocery store. Even if it's like, I mean, I guess Mother's Market and Sprouts are all right, but still, farmers markets are way better, in my opinion, I think. And they're easy to go to, and they're fun, and, you know, it's cool going out and being with the family, walking around farmers market, looking at all the veggies and getting samples, hella samples of fruit. They give you so many samples of fruit. Yeah. So, yeah, the dinner menu tonight is going to be, we got some Brussels sprouts. This is how I cook. This is how I come up with an idea of what I'm going to cook. Think about what I got in the fridge, or go look in the fridge, but usually since I'm the one who puts all the groceries away, not because I have to, but because literally I tell Alex, the fiance, I tell him I want to do it because I organize it the way I like. So I like putting away the groceries and making it all pretty, and then I make him look at it and I show him. I'm like, look at the beautiful fridge. Didn't I do such a good job at organizing the fridge? Isn't it gorgeous? For instance, last weekend I cleaned out the fridge shelves and all the drawers and everything, and then I made him come and look, and I was like, huh? Do you like it? I made it so beautiful. I did it for you. I did it for us. I did it for me. But I also did it for him because I love him. But yeah, I like to put away the groceries. So I usually know what's in there. And then I just kind of like think like, okay, for tonight, for instance, got some Brussels sprouts fresh from the farmer's market. We've got a purple potato fresh from the farmer's market, which was like $8. We got 2 of them. They're not huge. They're not ridiculous. $8 for 2 potatoes. That a little expensive, I will admit. But they're beautiful purple potatoes. So, you know. So yeah, we got the Brussels sprouts. We got the purple potato. We got purple cauliflower, which I'm super into right now. And we got some onion. And then I'm going to cook up some bacon, throw that in there, pop all that in the air fryer. You got to know the cook times of the thing. So like the cauliflower can't go in for the same time as the potatoes and Brussels sprouts because then it'll be just burnt. So you got to put in the potatoes first, give them like 10 minutes. Then you got to put in the Brussels sprouts and then at the end throw in the cauliflower. Otherwise it'll just be too mushy. And then since the bacon, I'm just going to cook on the stovetop, throw that in for the last couple of minutes so everything can cook together and get all bacon grease and juicy and delicious. Throw in some garlic, some seasonings. A lot of people don't like Brussels sprouts, but let me tell you, the way my mom taught me how to cook Brussels sprouts and the way that she always cooked Brussels sprouts is the best way. Sauteed, they're pretty good. However, you put them in some tin foil, mustard. You can even do some, she does a balsamic vinaigrette, but we don't have any. So we just do spicy mustard. And I know it sounds weird, but spicy mustard. Mix them in, garlic salt, pepper. You could do a little cayenne if you want it to be a little bit more spicy. And then pop it in the oven or the air fryer. They are so freaking delicious. I don't know what it is about the mustard that makes the flavor of the Brussels sprouts so good, but it works. Let me tell you, it works. It works real well. So that's the plan for dinner. And then maybe we'll do that over a nice bed of quinoa rice. My favorite thing right now is to mix rice and quinoa together because you get a little more, protein from the quinoa, maybe. I guess. I don't know. You might. Maybe you do. I don't know. Whatever. And then I got a little Parmesan and green onion to throw on top, and boom, that's dinner. Easy. Easy as pie. You know, cooking is awesome. It is essential. Learn how to cook. Cook from your gut. Get recipes. Learn how to cook that way. You know, if you're unsure about seasoning, taste as you go. You can do that with almost anything except meat, kind of. Just taste as you go. Add a little bit of seasoning. Give it a try. Be like, I need some more. Or it's perfect, you know? Because if you do a little bit at a time, eventually you get the hang of it where you're just like, you know it. You know it by the eye. You know it by the eye. Yep. So, that's the name of the podcast episode. You know it by the eye. And you won't know what that means until the very end of the episode. So, surprise. Now you know why the episode is called You Know It by the Eye. All right, well, I made myself extremely hungry, and so I'm going to go cook. Hope this was interesting. See you guys next week. It's supposed to storm this weekend, so that's going to be interesting. I wonder if it is going to storm. It's supposed to be like 85 degrees and storming. Monsoon weather. And yeah, don't get too hot. Stay hydrated. Stay hydrated. Stay conjugated. That rhymes. All right, we'll see you next week. Actually, Homeschool Podcast with Melena and the chicken wing arm. Over and out.